Hello, my name is Jonathan Pidwell and I'd like to welcome you to my very first video blog. I am an industrial designer and business owner, John & John Design and msinner.com, Products of Purpose. I'd just like to give you guys a little bit of insight into my new printer from Febtop. I've gone from an Net A8 here to this thing, an Optimus P1. It's not that small, it's actually quite huge. So it's a little bit of an unpacking video, first impressions, and a little bit of information overall about it. I hope you enjoyed, and let's get started. So as you can see by the comments and the pictures, it was really well packed. Very impressed with that. It's a very large package, so you've got to watch out where you're getting it delivered to. It comes on a truck with a lift at the back, and you need space for that. You can see here, yep, you got to get used to 5 kg rolls of filament. The cabling loom, everything comes pre-cabled. There's only a few little cables you have to put on yourself, but everything is basically pre-cabled. Every single part came in its own little package, sealed up, so you can be pretty safe that everything's there. This is the head that you can see. It's extremely solid. It's also extremely heavy, which makes me think how much weight it's moving around. Part of that's the cover, which is not necessarily necessary, but it looks good. The printer comes with 4 nozzles pre-assembled, which is very nice. Makes it easy changing. There's no changing just the nozzle. You change the whole part with the heater and everything and sensor in it. Makes it pretty easy. These are the 2 lasers. I bought the 2 lasers, 1.5 watt and 7 watt laser. Just tried those out actually. Seems to work. Well, tried the smaller one out, and I'm getting used to the software to make the rest of it work. These little boxes here you see are from Gratinals. They're great, just color samples actually, but great to hold screws and everything. I've purchased the camera, tried to get that working today, didn't work, but I'll work it out so I can see what's going on with the printer when I'm not at home. It's a filament stop. I haven't tried that one out. I will at some point. I hope it works. It seems to look good. It's nicely mounted on top of the printer. And these are the blue mounted rails, which are a little bit of decorations, which apparently you don't really need, and you have to make sure you mount them underneath the heated bed and not over the top of the heated bed like was originally said. The control unit is really nicely packed. Be careful, there's a wire that kind of randomly comes out of the bottom of it. See, I didn't see it there. The plugs on the back are really good, really professional, and this wire here is for the emergency stop. It would be nicer if that cable came out of the back. The unit is huge. You can see here the side units. They come screwed together with special joiners, which you need to unscrew. I had to get this up into up the stairs into my office, which meant unpacking most of it first before taking it up. The second package is a heated bed and the top assembly, which as you can see here, it's pretty fast. I know it's really nicely packaged. Lots of safety, lots of bubble wrap and stuff to make it good. The assembly went really smoothly, I must say. Most of it's pre-assembled. There are a lot of screws you need to take out and put back in. It means you kind of know what you're doing because you can see which screws need to be removed and then assembled. A little bit of help was required, as you can see. Sometimes, but most of it you can do with one person. You just need a bit of space. I was pretty limited on that, but it was okay. So you take the 2 sides out, make sure they don't fall over. At the bottom you can see here I'm just adding the cross rails for the bottom. Tried to get it nice and square. You want a nice stable flat surface to put it on. And also I used the foam mats that were delivered, used packaging to make sure I wasn't scratching it or anything on the floor. You can see there the stepper motors for the vertical, for the Z-axis. They're pretty huge, located at the bottom of the unit. You can see here how many screws you need to take out. and then immediately put back in. No big problem. Does probably add, I'd say, nearly an hour to the assembly of the unit. I could have used an electric screwdriver to do that, but I chose to do it by hand so that I didn't risk breaking anything or stripping a thread. It comes with great casters which you can screw the rubber feet out to level the unit. You have to watch out which way you screw them in, but they work really nicely. The casters themselves are very small, so it's not about moving it around often, but because it's such a big unit, you do want to have the ability to move it around the place. Now, I've been printing up to this point just with the net A8, so this is a big step up for me. Same system, of course, same idea. It will be interesting to see how it is. Now the cable loom that you get put on top is really all pre-cabled, pre-threaded through, which was very nice. There's not much work to do here. There's just the one screw which is on top of the unit, which was pretty damn hard to get in, especially if you've got fat fingers. I haven't. It won't help if you have though. Took a bit of guesswork. As you can see, it's also nice to be able to stand inside your printer to assemble it. The control unit's good. It helps to have something to stand on because it's mounted quite high off the floor and it's pretty heavy, so it wasn't easy to get there from the floor. I was standing on a chair at this point to assemble it. The instruction videos from Febtop are pretty good, although it would be handy to have one big video that you can go back and forth on and a PDF document that you could just scroll through, which is probably easier than the video. Good pictures and text are easier than the video. The heated bed is a folded aluminium plate. It seems to be pretty stable. It could be maybe better if it was a machined plate, but it seems to at this point work pretty well and remain stable. I added a little cable tie and stuff to support the cord, because the cord kind of just hangs off, and that means the whole weight of the cord, which is approximately 2 meters long, hangs off the adhesive that sticks the heating element to the bed. You can see here I mounted these as per the instructions, the blue rails. As I found out though, that means you can collide the nozzle and the head with them if you move the nozzle to the outside points. The instructions have changed since then, and you should mount them underneath the heated bed. Now it's all finished. Took me about 4 hours. Maybe it took me a bit longer, and I could have done it faster, but I was also making this video at the same time. The first print, I wasn't that happy, but this was actually not the first print, but the first print of mine. But since then I've worked out a few things I was doing wrong, and nothing bad. The nozzle leaked. I fixed that. That was just a slight assembly issue maybe. But as far as I know, all the printers were tested before they went out and then disassembled and sent out again. The vase I printed, the test vase that Febtop available, was fantastic. This is the first vase I've ever printed, but it's about 70 centimeters tall, and it's pretty perfect. There are absolutely no imperfections on the outside, and it was nice and quick printing with the 0.8 head nozzle on it. As you can see, the cover there, which is just a cover actually, prevented me from seeing that the fan wasn't always working when it was. Seemed to be just a little bit sticky. Got that working. Seems to be all good now. One thing that I noticed in my printing is that with the big nozzle you can spit out a lot of plastic, so you do notice it. So I've got a filter which I made using a fresh active cola filter, and that seems to be working nicely. I've got to get it hooked up properly so it moves around with the head, but it seems to work, and I recommend getting a filter for this. A few pictures. Everything's pretty massively built, nice thick aluminium parts, nicely finished. The steppers are huge. They have some real power. and they're actually quite quiet, so I'm very happy with that. This is the stepper at the bottom. All the cabling you can see is nicely wired up. I'm pretty impressed with that. The cables at the back of the control unit all are nicely professional plugs which you screw in. They can't come out if you screw them in properly, and they're all nicely labeled. Heating up, this video is sped up, but it really takes 45 seconds to get it to 45 degrees. Very happy with that. You can turn it on separately to the unit, so you can turn it on before. When leveling, getting the Z-axis right, you have to make sure you have the heated bed on, because it does move a little bit when you heat it up. So you may also have to do this when you have different temperatures. Just showing you how to turn the nozzle on, turn the element on the nozzle, and this heats up in about 1 minute, 45 seconds to 200 degrees, which is pretty good. So within 2 minutes you're ready to run. The screen is a little bit small. You don't want to have big fingers, and it does take a little bit of getting used to, making sure you hit the next button. I would prefer a bigger screen on a printer this size. Could be definitely a room for improvement in the future. Zeroes it nicely. The screen, the whole printer works pretty fast, and pretty happy with that. Laser, just tried that out. As I said, I'll be adding some pictures or information to that as it goes along. So thanks a lot. If you've got any questions, just contact me. I'm very happy to have this printer at home, and we'll keep you updated. Bye.